Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into this show today. Now, we are just about to begin March of 2026, but before we do, we must as always do our monthly Q&A to close out the outgoing month. And boy, someone must have said I like Bank of America because quite a few Bank of America questions to take a look at, as well as we'll also talk about some alternatives, the current state of the credit card game, and some credit card setup reviews as well. So, of course, chapters tool down below because we do go long here on each question, but, we want to give everyone a thorough and thoughtful answer. So, without further ado, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. So, DJ batting leadoff, he says, is the credit card game and the bank account bonus game on its last legs? Seem like nerfing and lifetime language is on the rise. Well, probably not. Even if you divided this up in let's say two segments of people, right? Normal people, well, they're always going to have offers because I don't think most people are too jazzed about going to open banking products, right? It's really the only lever they have. And we see this in, all industries, insurance, phone carriers, you name it. They're always offering you something for free to get you over because that's what it's going to take. So from that regard, that standpoint, no. Now, from our standpoint, also no. I think it's just harder or slower velocity than we used to be able to do. I mean, the days of getting ink cards back to back to back and eating them like Skittles is, I think long since gone. I don't know if that's coming back. And, it's because of the profitability and the risk. I mean, it is still a significant risk to extend unsecured credit, especially when you've got folks making videos about infinite ink cards. And, one of the questions I used to get all the time on the side was, how do I turn my credit limit into cash, which you're not supposed to do? And on and on and on. So I think across the board, they're going to have to tighten up. Doesn't mean they're not going to want to sell products and offer things to people anymore. I do think because of this, having your credit card categories solidified is going to come in a lot of handy, because yes, you can go through and get intro offers for the max amount of money. But again, to your point, I don't think we're going to be able to do that nearly as quickly as we used to be able to. So it might be more advantageous to have your credit cards accounted for that you need, so you're always earning 4 or 5%, whatever it might be, on most of your spend. But no, I don't think it's going to go away. Because, I mean, what I like to point out is, Chase is the one, if you use them for example, Chase is the one who used to say you can't have an ink card if you're applying for the same card. You can't have an ink cash and apply for another ink cash. Then Chase went and removed that rule. Then Chase went and put that rule back, which, so I guess my point is they've always known. I think just right now we're in a time where they're just tightening things up, to save money and reduce risk. I don't think it'll always be that way, but I think the golden run is probably come and gone, but it doesn't mean we won't be able to make money, if that's fair. So I wouldn't say it's last legs. It's just, it's not going to be the golden run anymore for quite some time. All right, let's make some people upset. Redsox Nation, when are we going to end the war on wealth in America? He who does not work shall not eat. I mean, unless you're going to wander around Sam's Club and get a bunch of free samples. But I mean, I guess you still need to buy a membership for that. Yeah, I agree with you. I think overall, for whatever reason, it's just become easier to just point and yell at people who seemingly have more money than you. Not everyone does this, but it seems to be a certain narrative playing out, to be sure. Folks, especially young folks, got to be very careful who they're listening to online, and we've confused value in self-worth sometimes, right? Self-worth being if you say something mean to me in the comments, whatever, right? Value of each individual's time and skills is not determined by you, or you can pick a number, but it's determined by what you can get on the open market. So for the longest time, I remember years and years and years ago, when you finish grad school, you're like, great, I should be making $100,000, newly minted MBA, and guess how many people were in line to give me $100,000? Not a single one. So guess who isn't worth $100,000? I think we're starting to confuse that. I love rage bait posts, and I saw one the other day where somebody was like, there's no such thing as a college shop. Like, that's simply not true. When I leave the gym in the morning every day, the kids are watching videos on their laptops. Like that's a perfect college age job. Like it just is what it is. So probably more serious in answer than you thought, but I do agree with you on this one. It has simply become commonplace to just bash on people. Like just give me more. Like, well, you could also figure that out yourself. So I agree with you. When will it end? Things come in and out of style. We'll just need something else to start complaining about. So I don't know. Give it another year or two, and we'll probably be on to the next thing. KC, if you did not have Bank of America Preferred Rewards and were starting fresh, would you still transfer money there and get their cards with the new nerf system? Would it still be worth it for you? So there's like two things. If I was starting over today and I had, let's just say I was starting over, I hadn't picked Bank of America yet, but I still had 100,000 to move someplace, right? Yes, I think it would be worth it, and I probably would, because your only real alternative is Robinhood. And the reason I don't do Robinhood Gold personally, aside from it, being a hard card to figure out how to get, is that they don't pay out on my highest spend categories, which is taxes and insurance, right? And yes, a lot of that is, offset or paid back to me through rent payments and the such, right? So it's not like, I'm just paying all of this, but, even income taxes, did the video last week, was like $10,000, right? They don't pay on that. So you're talking about easily for me, 30,000, give or take. I haven't really added it all, but $30,000 of spend isn't going to net me any rewards with Robinhood. So it becomes really hard to make back my $50 annual fee. And, if you're using the services and you were interested in the platform before, then I don't think you have to look at it that way. But if you only sign up for the credit card, then you have to look at it that way. The other thing is the Bank of America nerf, it's weird because it stings, but it doesn't, they didn't ruin it so bad that you're going to get angry and take your ball and go home, right? And if you hadn't been in there before, well, 4.5% on a lot of things on the customized cash cards is really good. 2.25 is still not bad on the unlimited cash. I guess it's almost just like, where were you at when it happened? So I still think it's advantageous. That's why I'm not leaving. So to answer your question, if I had the 100 grand and I hadn't done it, would I still move to Bank of America? Yes. Would I have just raved about it online for 2 or 3 years the way I have? Probably not. But I just don't know where else you go, really. Again, Robinhood for most people makes a lot of sense, but can you get the card? Especially if you can just transfer in with an IRA match, which I think the next guy's going to talk about, so I'll leave it there. So yeah, for me, being a cashback person, yes, I don't want to buy a bunch of different gift cards. That's one of the things that Bank of America helped me get away from, is buying a bunch of gift cards on the category card. So yes, I still would. Jack Paul's in here with the death of preferred rewards. A little extreme. Have you considered taking advantage of Robinhood Gold's 1 to 3% retire account transfer bonus? With an account of 100 grand, that is, you'd get $1,000 to $3,000. You get better user interface, which is very true. So yeah, I mean, I again, like, see above for why I haven't done the Robinhood thing yet. I think if a gold card was easier to get, what I would probably do, I guess, is right now Bank of America is at like 260 some odd $1,000 in the Roth IRA. I could just, to your point, leave 100 in there, so I still have my unlimited cash card. 2.25, and that still pays, that's still enough to cover taxes and insurance and things of that nature, and then send the rest to Robinhood and get the gold card. Because then if you want to look at it, like, yeah, but you get, let's just say $2,000. No, it'd be 100. Let's just say $1,000 for the transfer. I mean, that's still more than enough to cover that annual fee for many years to come. I know about the SGOF thing people do. So yeah, I mean, I have considered it. I mean, I think the real strategy behind is like that card. Like, can you just get it day one? And it doesn't seem like everyone can. And I don't want to do all that. If I'm moving for the card, I want access to the card. And I haven't tried either to get the card, so there's also that. But so to answer your question, like, yes, I've considered it. I just haven't yet because I don't consider preferred rewards dead. I consider it got hit in the knee for sure, but I don't know if I consider it dead. It's just not the same. But you hear how I sound today. Sometimes you're just a little bit off, man. So yeah, I mean, good option. I might do it. I just not there yet. Next up here, Fevzi. Did you ever look into Fairwinds $95 travel card as a possible replacement for the autograph journey? Someone did mention in the prior Q&A. It's a good memory. It is a good card. So I'll put it on screen for you. I believe it's like, it's $95. It's like 5x travel, which would cover flights and hotels, whereas the journey is what, 5 for hotels and 4 for flights, or one of the two. Definitely not a problem. I mean, I would consider it. I'm not going to get approved for like anything right now. Well, I might actually. I'm actually 324. I looked it up when someone asked me the other day, so I might. I'd probably still lean Wells Fargo, simply because I do have a Fairwinds account, but I know sometimes dealing with credit unions is a pain. The user interface is a pain. So I'd probably stick with the Journey. Plus, I think the tie goes that because their $50 coupon is so easy to use at face value, that it cuts the price basically in half. So I would still lean towards Journey, but you're 100% right that would be a great alternative. And it's a solid call out by you or the gentleman who mentioned it last time. Because one of those sleeper cards is definitely overlooked. So yeah, I should probably, if I continue to get denied, because again, back to Bank of America, even for travel, booking airline and hotel online still used to trigger 5.25 back on the customized cash card, or you could flip it to travel and do it specifically if you wanted to. But now that I'm down to 4.5, I do need to go back and cover that off. Back to our original question of, is the credit card game cooked? I do want to finish out that setup, so at least I'm covered when it gets even harder to get cards. So yes, all that to say, I'm aware of it. It's a really good call. I'm not there yet, but it's not a bad option for anybody. Polygraph zone. It means I have to tell the truth now. 2 questions. Where's that guy who asks a zillion questions? I haven't ran into his yet. What is the likelihood BOA or preferred rewards and preferred rewards elite cards get updated? Probably 0. I just don't. The whole change was so weird. Because I've probably said it already, but because they changed it, but not enough to upset anyone to go away, really, or where else are you gonna go? And they also didn't change anything enough to start encouraging people to open more products or spend more with them. It was just we're paying out too much money here, we're gonna shift the categories, and that's it. So I don't think they're going to, because now you're definitely not going to make that unlimited cash a 2% card. Not going to do that. You don't need a rotating category card because you've got the customized cash, which really covers off against the flex and the cash plus. The one area on cash back that no one's really gone after too much yet is the Wells Fargo Attune card, because that's just a ton of random cash back areas that I think is a good card, but I don't know how the masses respond to that. So I don't know that they're going to. I mean, they have their travel elite card. I mean, I don't think they're going to is the answer. I think it's very unlikely that they're going to do anything. I think they're missing out on some opportunities though. And you can say all day long, okay, well, we haven't spent enough money in your system, which is fine, but you still have some onus as a bank to make your products competitive and make us want to use them. And I would apply that to all of their products, not just the credit cards, but I just can't really see them doing anything with the cards. They really don't seem to care too much, honestly. And, when you're the second largest bank, you really don't have to care that much. So I guess it's justified. All right, number 2. I'm so sick of everyone saying how BILT is a game changer and will take customers away from Chase and Citi. There's no chance of that happening. I have a hard time believing anyone who is serious about their finances will leave a solid bank card issuer ecosystem to go all in on BILT. Regardless, the only people who would leave Chase or Citi are us, people in this community, and honestly, those banks would be happy to get rid of the min-maxers. I believe cardless will tank when so many dumped palladium in year two, and ones that leave in year two are not profitable. He says, are you wrong? And I can break it down. He won't have to go to a safe space. I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I'm trying to think of another example. There's very interesting times. Okay, I have one, but this is going to upset some people. I hope the Redsox guy's still watching. You remember the 2016 when Trump won the first time, and the polls and stuff would say one thing. They would say, no, 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 he's not winning. But then you saw his events, and they were standing room only. And you saw the other, I don't remember who he squared off against in the finals for that, but Lady Clinton, right? Was it her? But anyways, you could see the difference. And people, it isn't my opinion. People, if you go back and read pieces from reporters who were there, they're like, no, you can actually see the difference. The polls are saying one thing, but we're seeing something different when we're traveling around with both of them, right? And my point is, it's a very rarely that like everyone's saying one thing, but something else is actually happening. I think we're into one of those moments just in our space, right? What you have is a bunch of people saying this car is amazing and I'm going to build it into my setup, this, that, and the other. But what you have is the masses of people being like, what is this? This isn't what you promised us. This isn't what you started with. This is so far from your original concept. It's silly. So I don't think you're wrong at all. I don't think you can build a credit card. I mean, to me, a credit card setup is multiple credit cards. Just technically, the Venture X and the Saver is a setup. It's more of a duo. We could be splitting hairs. But when if you wanted to build a setup, you're talking about the Palladium and then maybe a Hilton or a Hyatt card and an airline card. Like, that's pretty much it. I don't think this fits into most people. Most people around here who seem like they're championing this card are like bending over backwards to make this thing fit into their wallet, and I just don't really see it. The other thing that's interesting is they're basically doing what who was it? Mesa was doing, but more complicated. Mesa was like, hey, just show us your statement and we'll give you the points, and you just have to spend a certain amount on the card. BILT added in a layer where like you send the money from your BILT account or something, but then they try to get cute with the processing fee. It doesn't make any sense. Well, of course, there's no processing fee because it's not a credit card payment. So what am I covering off these points for? Cardless is a really good point. Cardless is like, I mean, it's not synchrony, but like you're not doing great. If Wells Fargo couldn't turn this thing around, and Wells Fargo, I mean, we don't really know how much work they went through, right? Like, I always thought there was a play with Wells Fargo's transfer partners being not great. Could they have just worked out a deal where we just all transfer these partners? Could they have worked out a deal where, we can figure out how to make these leads from BILT cards into mortgage originations? But then I think Wells took a big step back in mortgage originations too. But if a bank like that, with all the money at its disposal and all the products at its disposal, couldn't make this work, I don't know why Cardless would be able to. To your exact point, I had a good friend, I talked her into applying for the AAA card, and I just warned her. I was like, hey, look, this is from Community Bank, from Bread Financial. It's not Chase. It's not Wells Fargo. It's fine, but it's not. She was worried about it, but like she wouldn't have known that. And I was like, I just need to let you know what you're getting into, right? And so, yeah, I don't think this is going to be good. I give them another year or two. I'll give them 2 more years. But like, if this didn't work for Mesa, why would it work for you guys? You're doing the same thing. You're just more popular than Mesa. Maybe you try to do it first. Rocket Mortgage couldn't figure this out in a profitable way. I don't know. So I don't think you're crazy. I think there's just a lot. It's just that standard of like what we're seeing and what we're saying are 2 different things, and it's just happening right before us. And it's crazy so much so if you say it's terrible, you just met with all these other hosts that are like trying to shill and give you the links, like, which I have no problem shilling terrible. I'll do videos on terrible products, but I generally tell you, hey, this card isn't any good, but it's $300. You want $300? That's why we're here. I think that's the big difference. Like, you're like, hey, look, in year number 1, I can do this, this, and this. In year number 2, I'm out. That's totally fine. But I'm going to rework this card in my entire life. Like, come on, man, really? Like, everyone is saying this is bad. So, no, I agree with you. You don't have to go to your quiet, your safe space. You're safe here, my friend. All right, Elizabeth's a Bank of America faithful, true and true. Yet again, I'm asking about Bank of America now that more details came out and they were not as we hoped. She's nice because I was like, no, they're not going to change it. And I was wrong. She could be a lot meaner. How will you adjust your strategy once the cards officially gets nerfed? How do you feel about the new $1 million cap? Is it even worth it? Or is it too much without the SBIC insurance that goes that high? I also mentioned something about enhancements to the security of our accounts. I would love to hear your thoughts. I don't. The security of the accounts seems interesting. I mean, it's like a bank. Like I don't. If I, it'd be really. I didn't see that part, but it'd be really weird if they're like, oh, we're going to add security. Well, what security do you not already have in place that we didn't qualify for? That would be weird. So the setup, I'm still going to keep the cards. I mean, the unlimited cash will still be my catch-all card at 2.25 when it goes into effect. It's still better than I can do elsewhere. We kind of covered why not Robinhood Gold already, so I won't touch on that again, but I'll keep that one. The customized cash cards hurt more because of my whole pursuit of getting 5x everything, and it literally like lost three 5x cards in one go. Now they're 4.5, but 4.5 still really good. It's just not 5 is the thing, but I'll still keep using them. So where it could change is two main areas I see off the top of my head. That's one is on certain products that you're purchasing. Let's say next year Apple does right and they make the iPhone the big one in black. Okay, previously I've just put that on the customized cash for online at 5.25. Now do I go back to buying Apple gift cards and buying it that way? Well, last time I screwed up my account buying Apple gift cards, and so now I'm a little bit hesitant to do that, but you see my point. I could go back to buying gift cards. I don't really know if I want to. I really didn't like doing that. I was just trying to min-max everything, but it does bring gift cards back in play via the Amazon Prime card, via the AAA card. I can buy gift cards when I'm at the grocery store. I'm never going to max out that $10,000 in spend on that card for groceries. The other way, well, I guess there's 3 ways. The other way could potentially like caring more where you buy things, right? I do have the AAA card, so I mean, do you just go to Walmart to buy more things? Like if I don't know, I'm not a big Walmart. I like Walmart. They're just not close to me. By close, I mean like next door. Like I'd have to go like 15 minutes in one direction to get to a Walmart, which is not super far, but there's a grocery store right next to my gym that I pass every day. So I would rather just go there. But super centers sell everything. So do you just start using your other cards, using the AAA works in Walmart? They sell a ton of stuff. Do you start doing that perhaps? Do you bring the Target debit card into the mix as well as another alternative? And then I think the third option or the third one on the table is also what other exotic products can you consider? Exotic being a somewhat traumatic word, but how we talked about on the tax video of like the PayPal credit card, right? For paying taxes. Did I really want to waste? I don't have it yet, but do I really want to waste an inquiry on a slot on the PayPal card? No, but it's the best way to make money off of paying the taxes now through PayPal, so probably so. So I think it changes it in that regards, but overall, I'm still going to keep the Bank of America cards. I think they're still useful. I think they're still fine. I mean, like I said, it's a weird change. It hurts, but where else are you going to go, right? If I told us in the beginning it was 4.5, we would have thought it was cool. The only reason we don't like 4.5 is because it used to be 5. It's kind of where I'm at with that. How do I feel about $1 million? I think the $1 million is weird because there's such a large gap and you don't want it to feel insurmountable to get to the next tier. That's why I think $1 million is weird to have the next tier, right? Because you got 100,000 and then, yeah, I mean, I know they show that when I write it out, I just say 100,000. But of course, they have 100,000 to like 999, right? But it just seems like a weird, have such an insurmountable gap between the two where people might not feel like there's anything that you're actually going to be working towards. Because it's like, sure, $1 million, you just stay in the game long enough, you'll make it to a millionaire, no problem. But it's really hard to overcome. I thought that was weird that the millionaires didn't get anything extra. It's like, all right, well, you guys are cool, you can stay. but you don't get anything. But you never really got anything extra. Because when we introduced the million tier, we didn't give you anything extra to begin with. So it's kind of weird all the way around. As for the rest of it, I don't know if they're looking at it that you're supposed to have $1 million all in investments, though it's probably the way it goes. I haven't looked too much in the insurance. I'll take your word. I should probably know that, but I didn't look. I didn't know the $1 million was a cutoff for that. They should definitely look to adjust that or something if that's what they're trying to do. I'm sure I would guess they have something for it because I mean they're a large bank. They've got to have high net worth individuals. I'm gonna guess there's something for that. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me having that much money in one spot. I wouldn't put all my money, which is of course what they want, but if you just move that one account over there and you still have checking and savings and stuff divided elsewhere, I think it's probably fine. Excuse me. So I don't know if that helps or not. I would, if I had $1 million, I'd probably do it. The only thing I'd say I wouldn't do is if I was like a serious trader, then no, I'm probably going to want to be somewhere else that it's easier to use. But as someone who's just doing, was it ETF or index fund, whatever, VTI and chill as the kids say, it's probably fine. So there you go. I thought I'd be more upset about it, but really not. I'm annoyed, but I'm not overly upset, I guess. Matt Kramer here. Are you doing the March Madness series this year? Has anything about the results surprised you the last few years with regards to paying? Oh, this is a separate question. With regards to paying taxes using credit cards, have you ever experienced an issue? So yes, March Madness will be back. As I'm taping this on a Saturday, my Sunday chore is to spruce up our documents for next week, I guess you could say. If you're watching this on Thursday, then yeah, it'll be out Tuesday, and we'll start with the qualifying round. So I've got to just jazz everything up. I'm always going to forget a card or two on the list to be sure, but I got to do that stuff so we're ready to go. Yes, we're going to play. Has anything surprised me? Like this question, really? And it surprised me how much of like a cult following the tournament got, which is not really like the results that you're talking about, but it started a few years ago because you read a bunch of stuff online, like how do you get people to keep coming back to your show? And they're like, you should start a series. I was like, well, people have these little tournaments about their thing. Why don't we just make one for credit cards? And it's routinely, it's every single time, it's the most unpopular series we have by far. But those people who show up and watch it really like it, so much so that like you remember that it's a thing, and that's pretty crazy. So this is exactly why we run it back every year, because for those people, I think it's worth doing. And it's one of those things on YouTube people can get wrong is if you're so busy trying to chase who's not at your party, you forget about the people who already came to your party. You got to take care of those guys. It's also why we don't talk about, Amex Platinum every single day or every other show, because that would, sure, likely attract a larger audience, but it's going to annoy or ignore people who are here day in and day out and want to hear about different topics. As far as the results, I feel like people vote Venture X because there's simply not a better option in travel. Everyone else keeps getting taken out of the kneecaps. Venture X hasn't as of yet. But there seems to be some level of pushback as the annual fees go higher and these cards keep changing points, currencies, or values, I guess would be a better word. But I don't know that's caught up in the voting yet. I think when you're voting, it's easier to vote for like what you want to see, or like hypothetically maybe, not what you actually do. That's my guess. But I would think at some point, cash back or no annual fee card would take over, simply because those get nerfed through inflation and things of that nature. But there does seem to be some level of getting tired of $900 cards, $800 cards, right? So that'd be my hope, at least. Second part, with regards to paying taxes using your credit card, have you ever experienced an issue? So I have not had an issue myself. I think out of the two payment processors that they have, Pay 1040 and ACI, I think One of them doesn't have amazing reviews. I remember talking this about a friend last year, and I was like, I used the cheaper one. He said, well, that one doesn't have as good of reviews. I was like, yeah, but they were the cheaper one. I didn't know that. I didn't look up the reviews. I mean, I haven't been doing it that long. I haven't had to I've owed for the last few years, maybe let's say 3-4 years, something like that. I haven't had any issues. It should be fine so long as you grab the receipt from there. Should the IRS come knocking, I would say, but I haven't had any issues. I haven't heard of anyone having. I mean, well, someone has had to for these guys to have lower reviews, but I haven't personally. So that's what I'm going to do again this year as well. Next up here, RJ, do you think that if enough people complain, BofA could do a BILT 2.0 and try to fix their upcoming preferred rewards fiasco? At least change the diamond tier to 300. Congrats on $1 million, on 100K to $1 million is ridiculous. Zero chance. In the big BILT rewards, just try to get too cute with it. And the funny part is, you're never going to convince me that BILT rewards didn't already have that backup plan written out and ready to go. Should plan A didn't go over well. They came up with it too fast. These things have to go through so many different approvals. They had that ready to roll. Bank of America, no chance. They don't care. Plus, the change was communicated clearly and concisely. Is where BILT's issue was no one knew what they were talking about, and people were trying to figure it. I know there's 2 or 3 people like, you guys are bad at math. Like, well, yes, that's true, but it's still confusing. So I don't think there's a chance. I think they knew exactly what they were doing. They've had plenty of time to sit around and think about this and figure out what they wanted to do. And I don't think they care, because I don't know what they make from someone in self-managed services, right? It means you do your own investments yourself. So like, yeah, if I'm like very upset and I take my $260,000, like, did it really cost them anything? Like, I don't think they're losing anything, you know? Yeah, I still think it's weird that they have such a gap from 100,000 to $1 million. You'd think there'd be something in the middle, but if they put something in the middle, then you've got to water down the rewards even more, unless you're going to say, hey, $1 million gets double the rewards, which seems excessive, because then you'd be back in U.S. bank territory just about, and that didn't work either. I also just don't think real banks work that way. I would say the difference is kind of like BILT rewards is like talking to me, like an influencer. I don't love the term, but talking to like influencers. You can talk to as many influencers on YouTube hosts if you want. You're never going to talk to Tom Brady, right? Like, you might think you are, but it's some kid running his Twitter account, right? As where BILT rewards was kind of always talking to us, which makes it a little bit tougher. So, but they are getting the feedback. They are on Reddit. We know we're there. Sure, Bank of America's reading Reddit and they have people, they pay for that, but I just can't imagine they're gonna walk anything back. They knew what they did. It was deliberate. It made sense. We don't have to like it. It's the choice on us if we want to stay or not. But no, I don't think, I wouldn't even call it a fiasco, really. I mean, like the other guy said, like it was doomed or something. It just wasn't that dramatic of a change. It was, but it wasn't, which is why I think it's so weird. But no, I don't think they're going to do that. It is ridiculous. The gap is ridiculous. I will agree with you there. I think they could do some. Here's one. I'll give you one. I think, and we talked about this in last Sunday's show, I think they could do something, amend it down the line. Let the fallout happen, and then amend it down the line to try to incorporate some of their other products, mainly mortgage, for example. And I don't know their numbers or anything, right? But let's say you originate a new loan with Bank of America. Well, what if the value you get a home appraisal, that value of the appraisal now counts towards your total status with them? I think they could do something like that, and it's pretty protected, because no one's gonna open a HELOC or something just for preferred. Sure, somebody would do something stupid, right? But you could do some things like that to help incorporate some of the other products potentially. But I don't just walk it back. I don't think so. All right, we have our grab bag guy back to back here. So for whatever reason, these came in different orders. But so he says, a Kari dude here, he says, another question before the day ends. Is it possible to get an Amazon Prime Visa card by Chase if, let's say, someone you know has an Amazon Prime and you are on their family plan, but you are not the one paying annual for Prime? I don't think Chase or Amazon cares who owns the Prime card. I think the card has to be associated to a Prime account. So I think that's still, I know it used to work. I think it still works. I'm not 100% sure. I did look around on Reddit, and the last Reddit post I found was like 2 years ago, and folks said it worked. So I'm going to go with that would work to get the Prime card. Like if you had family sharing on or something, I don't see why it wouldn't work, because it's going off of the account, not necessarily your name. All right, more questions. Do you remember the customized cash rewards was just the BOA cash rewards? Yeah, I mean, I wasn't paying too much attention to Bank of America back then, but I remember the old looking red design before they brought it in line with the newer cards. I do remember that. Which is better, multiple city custom cash cards or multiple BofA customized cash rewards cards with platinum or platinum honors tier? Well, I mean, the old one you'd be winning by a quarter point. The new world, you'd be at 4.5 versus 5. But the answer is probably more so closely related to which categories can you make better use of. So for online shopping and like home improvement, I think you'd want customized cash, because there's bigger limits, because even if you looked at it on a monthly basis, you're capping out at $1,500 to spend versus $2,500 to spend, and those could be bigger spend categories for folks. But for every custom cash has such a wide range of categories. I know some folks get mad because most of us only use it for gas or something anyways, but it has such a wide range of categories that you'd probably be better with the custom cash cards, I would think, because you've got more access to more, unless you're going after those two specific categories, which are higher spend cards. I mean, online, I think they have home improvement on custom cash, but again, 500 versus 2,500. Homeowners will tell you it's probably going to be closer to 2,500, right? So I'd probably go custom cash. How would you compare, you love these cards, man, the City Strata Elite versus the duo of City Strata Elite and City Strata not Premier? So so compare the Elite versus the duo on its own. So I mean, sure, together they work because it kind of covers everything off. I'll put them on screen for you for like the comparison here. If you put them together, then at least you're getting covered off on that. You pick up from the free version, you pick up the supermarkets and gas stations, which is helpful. The Elite doesn't have that. And then you also get that random choice 3x on a self-select category of your choice. So, I mean, they make a good pairing. And since they're free, you could definitely have the Strata card with the Elite card with no problem. I still think the Premier is the better answer. I know you didn't want that one in there, but I mean, I would still say the Premier is the better answer because they're set up very clear that you'd have Elite, Premier, one of those two, and then the Strata card. Right, but you could do it. I mean, so yes, having the Strata card does make the Elite somewhat better. Especially if you throw a double cash in there as well. Why did I call the Elite a trap card? Because that 6 points per dollar looks like a really large number, but it's only Friday and Saturday from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Like, it's not. It looks like a good option, but I think it's a trap to go for that. You'd be much better off for the Premier for $95 than you would the Elite on just about every single thing on there. But you see that 6x back and you're like, yes, but like Friday and Saturday is kind of weird. I mean, why not count the whole weekend? You can make the argument Thursday to Sunday is really when people start to go out, depending on how young you are and where you're going and things like that. So I just don't. I think it's kind of a trap. So how would it work combined with the City Strata? I mean, yeah, like I said, it would work fine. It's just I don't think it doesn't. I still think those two cards together still don't do enough to offset a $600 annual fee. Be much better going off Premier. Favorite moments is when you always call the Sapphire Preferred a meh card. The Sapphire Preferred is a meh card. It's like one of the very few cards, like don't get this card to use the card. You get it because you want the Visa insurances. You want primary CDW. In the past, it made sense because you could, unlock travel transfer partners and things of that nature, and it still does. But it's still meh. It's not a good card. The Strata Premier is better than it. The Autograph Journey is better than it. The regular Autograph is better than it. I mean, if we could keep going, it's just so meh. Like it's meh by design because it can never surpass the Sapphire Reserve Big Brother card. I'm waiting for them to refresh that one and hike it up to 150. It'll still be meh, but yeah, it's not great. The only reason it gets hyped up is because every April they dig up the 100K offers, and again, people want to make all the videos about it. Sign up for my link, which again, I probably will too on the second channel, but again, we always try to say it's a meh card. Do you want 100,000 points or not? Like, that's really the question. What's your opinion on people who force themselves to use credits on cards like the Gold, Strata Premier, Sapphire Reserve to justify the annual fee, assuming it may not be that hard on a 95? It's easier on a $95 card because there's one credit. I mean, to your meh card and Sapphire Preferred, yeah, I can use I use the hotel credit. We got a video on that, and it was easy to use, right? The Autograph Journey, because that credit's very easy to use, so I don't mind it. I think people just kind of coupon simping or just kind of trying to force themselves into a product that was never designed for them, and like not everything is for everyone. So I always give an example of, the laptop behind me, right? It's the M4 Max 16-inch MacBook Pro, and you're like, well, you go into the Apple store and you're like, I want one of those, and you're like, wow, what do you do? Because it's powerful. I'm like, it's not that serious, guys. I don't edit videos like MKBHD. I use it in the laptop mode during the week. My work computer goes there, so I want the nice screen, the biggest laptop I can get. And you need the max to power 3 screens, and I want the SD card slot to pull a memory card off this camera. That's it. But I would never just upload additional video footage like I'm using all my GPU cores. That would be stupid. I got the thing that I wanted out of the computer. Some things come with it, and we've been doing this game forever. I mean, this is not how car sales work. Like, you want one thing, but that one upgrade is tied to 12 other things you didn't really want. Maybe you end up liking 2 of them, but you got the thing you wanted, and I think that's the main thing. So I say just use what you want. Understand that not everything is some crazy financial investment deal, and just like let it go. But when you want to sit there and force yourself to use all these credits, and then if you want to use them, then use them, fine. But then if you want to actually say, well, I pay the effective annual fee of this because, well, then now you're just struggling here, man. Either deal with it or go back to the free products that are designed for you. And look, some people would say this is mean, but I stay with the free products because those are the ones I like. So I'm not even being mean or elitist YouTube host. Not everything is for everyone. If you can't use those banks tell us who they want. Where I live, you don't really do Uber too much. From my house to the airport, it's like 20 minutes, and it's like $50. So people aren't going to do that around here. I mean, I'm sure someone does, but it's not really how we think here in the Motor City, right? All my neighbors have like 3-car garages and more cars than they can fit in their driveway, man. So you get the point. Credit card madness. Yes, we touched on that. It will be back starting next week for the 2026 season. Maybe a coupon card will win, but I hope it doesn't. So thank you for writing in. As always, we might even finish early because that was only a handful of questions. So guess you're learning something, man. You have even less questions. That's good. Glad I could be of service. All right, 2 more. Frequent flyer here, FevZ, started Preferred Rewards Platinum Honors this month. Ouch. I don't have cards to BofA yet. Would you bother getting the unlimited, the customized cash right now? Or would you go after other cards like custom cash and saver? He's at 312 now, got the Venture X and Autograph in August. Chase Freedom Unlimited. So in mid-March, I'll be at 0 increase in 3 months. So I would probably say pick up one of the customized cash. You kind of Well, I mean, guess you're kind of like moving all over the place. You've got some travel cards in there. You've got some cashback folks cards in there. I would say, especially if they're still running that customized cash offer where it's like 6% for the first year or something like that, because that's just 6%. That's the offer, right? So even if you weren't even in preferred rewards, it would still be 6%. So it still stacks with your preferred rewards, I want to say. So I would definitely pick up one of the red cards, unless you're going at, now you list those. The unlimited cash, as long as you got it, the Venture X can serve as your catch-all 2% card. I wouldn't put two in, because you have so many other cards you want that are probably more powerful than that. I wouldn't put a quarter point above getting those. So I think my answer would be customized cash, because it could be 6%. And then maybe you can come back for unlimited cash if you wanted to down the line. Kind of giving my thought. I don't think, I'm not leaving Bank of America. I will continue to use the cards. So do I think it's still worth it? Yeah, I still think it's worth it. Does it change your priority? Like, absolutely. I think it does change your priority somewhat, especially as you mentioned, like the 5 and 12 rule or the 7 and 12 rules, your customer, they're a little bit more lenient on cards. So I'm really just saying pick up the customized cash because it's 6%, and that's a really good card, a really good intro offer, especially while it will stack with your preferred reward status, right? Then I will continue on your merry way, as you say, going custom cash or saver to partner with your Venture X. The other thing I would say would probably be easier to answer is, like, I was trying to figure out where you're trying to get to, I guess is my question. And you could know, because I'm just don't know all the transfer partners, right? Because we've got the Venture X and we're going to add the Saver. That makes sense. But I've also got the Autograph and the Chase Freedom Unlimited, and now we have the Bank of America. So I'm just trying to figure out like where you're trying to go setup wise. Are you trying to get to a transfer partner? Are you trying to get to a hybrid travel cashback setup? So I guess knowing that might help. But overall, I tend to agree with you on those. Yes, plus it looks like you'll be, yeah, I'd go with that. But if you want to chop it up in the comments, let me know. Last one, Benjamin Martin here. It helps if I don't press the wrong button. Watching your videos for a while, and they've helped me strategically accumulate the following setup, and I was wondering if you could comment on it. Well, you're in the right place. I've been known to run my mouth on occasion. I run a Platinum Rewards credit card from Pinnacle Financial Partners, 2% back on gas, groceries, and pharmacy. Capital One Saver for dining, entertainment, and groceries as groceries as backup if needed. Fidelity credit card that I use exclusively for recurring online subscriptions with all rewards automatically deposited into my Roth IRA. PNC Cash Unlimited. From that, I use for my phone bill to access the included phone protection and for miscellaneous catch-all expenses. And a U.S. Bank Altitude Connect that I use for transit as an all-in-one travel card and during trips for simplicity. I've intentionally structured my setup around category efficiency, risk layering, and reinvesting rewards into long-term assets. ChatGPT told me that I should consider the Chase Sapphire Preferred for premium travel. How did you feel when I kept saying, man, that's what ChatGPT told you? So I guess, a question for a question. I assume Pinnacle, I haven't heard of Pinnacle Financial Partners 2%, but it sounds like it'd be something similar to Fidelity. So I'm seeing 3 2% cards. I got the Pinnacle one, I have the PNC. I'm going to leave the PNC alone because you're like, hey, I use that for cell phone protection. Perfect sense, fine. Although, I think that you could do the same with the Autograph, but it's really not worth an extra percent to throw on another card right this minute. And then I have the Fidelity Visa as well. I would think you could go down to just 1 2% card, unless you want to split it like that. Because when you say I'm using Financial Partners card for 2% on gas, groceries, and pharmacy, and well, yeah, but then you have the Fidelity credit card for recurring online subscriptions. I know there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, 2% is 2%. I just feel like you could definitely simplify it, picking one of those 3 cards if you wanted to. PNC is awful, so again, if you want to take them for their cell phone insurance, by all means, but between Pinnacle and Fidelity, I think you could just pick one of those. The other thing is if you, let's see, I've intentionally structured my setup around category efficiency, risk layering. So I also don't understand. I guess I'm not following along with the category efficiency. So efficient from the standpoint of like I can swipe my card and I can get 2%. Sure, efficient. Or you're like efficiency where like I want to max each category because then I can take that cash back and dump it into my retirement accounts. From that case, then we have some work to do because again, we're just getting 2% on quite a few things. So if that's your, we could talk about that. Here's the Altitude Connect. I like the Altitude Connect. So chat sheet. So I guess what would you use the Sapphire Preferred for? Because I don't consider the Sapphire Preferred premium. As I went on a rant about it earlier, I would say, hey, if you're looking to start in the Chase ecosystem and you want transfer partners, then by all means get the card because it's $50 annual fee after the credit. If you're going on trips and you rent cars a lot, then by all means get it. You don't strike me as someone who's into the travel frills, which is neither am I. So it's not a knock. So I would probably look at the Wells Fargo autograph card. Honestly, I think that covers a lot of travel, all the same or higher multipliers, 3x on a lot of stuff. It's also, I don't have it in front of me, but it's a 3x travel, transit. Is grocery on the list? Cell phones on the list. Ride shares on the list, I want to say. So you get a lot of coverage from having that card. I would go that one. If you want to step up to an annual fee card, then I'd go City Premier. But I wouldn't go Chase Sapphire Preferred unless you really want to be in the Chase ecosystem. You're going to be shifting your cards over there, or you really like the insurances that the Preferred offers. As for the rest of it, there's nothing wrong with getting 2% on everything. But I just, in my mind, when you say I've set it up for efficiency, category efficiency, unless we're talking about just ease of use, then I feel like that's a little bit different. Risk layering, I mean, you're covered off on risk from the standpoint if you lose 1-2% card, you have two other ones, but might be a little bit redundant. So I think there's definitely some work we can do on this if I'm following correctly. So I think I answered the main question, which is I would not be in agreement with ChatGPT and the Sapphire Preferred unless those are your goals. Autograph, City Premier would be, even that Fairwinds card the gentleman mentioned earlier would be up there above the Sapphire card unless you want to go with a Chase. And then again, there's nothing wrong with your setup, but we could probably be doing some more damage, which could get more money into your retirement accounts if that's that's the goal. But again, let me know. Drop me a comment down below. We can definitely chop it up. We did a video one time going through a good friend of mine's credit card setup, so you could even be a good candidate for that. We could make it into a thing potentially. So drop me a comment. Maybe we can sort it out, get more in depth. But again, those are your questions. I appreciate everyone bearing with me. I'm sure this didn't sound like the James Earl Jones voiceover that everyone's used to, but we made it through. So thank you very much for writing in. Of course, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like here every single week. Of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.